Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today we're going to see if I've learned how to Israel any better, and well, we'll see what the answer is. But I'm headed up most of my force toward Gulf and partly toward Foxtrot, while I have a lighter detachment headed toward Bravo. And you can see I've taken a unit that doesn't always get a ton of use here. It's the Hafiz, 80 points, 2975 meter range, ATGMs, 27 AP, 50% accuracy, not much armor. So it is the under-armored, somewhat less ammunition as well version of the Pera. But the 30-point savings really does make a significant difference in your opener, so I thought I'd give it a try and I'd use it to knock off the sorts of pushes we've seen headed through Charlie and into Foxtrot, into the woods here. That's are oh so common. So my opponent is the Corporal Crippling Depression, who is often on the channel, and well, he is just helping me test out the deck, so many thanks to him for that. I have since changed it under some advice from other players, and what you'll notice is that this game has a ton of infantry, Hammers, Zeldas, other sort of support like that. A couple of BTR 80As spotted on the left-hand side in Gulf, and I had a bit of a sinking feeling in my stomach because I had expensive Shaitet 13 in here. I was barely able to evacuate them, but a single Moglan unit and then some late Zelda and Rove 90, I wasn't sure I'd be able to take out anything like a heavy tank on that end, or I just really wasn't looking forward to the fight here. I wasn't really sure what to expect. My Moglan, by the way, only have 4 spikes, and right now they're using them on BTRTs and Scratchets, which, while fine opportunities, are also not really heavy tanks. And there's a T-72 BU right there that my Merkava 2As are not able to really deal with. And this is an interesting thing about Merkava 2As. They have decent armor, they have a decent gun, they have the Mark 19, but one thing they do not have is the ability to reverse move, because the game counts these technically as transports, and so you can click backward, and maybe it is that they just go backward on their own, but I was slow moving them out of the way here because I was trying to look for the reverse move button. Look at that. I guess right-clicking backwards really just does make vehicles go straight backwards instead of turning to shoot. I guess that's why there's no reverse button. But hey, learn something new every day, and unfortunately I lost a Merkava 2A, which rhymed way more than I had ever intended. So 90 points down, T-72BU is alive and well and very healthy, and there wasn't really much going on this side, so I have a Ramreki up here for spotting, a couple of Bedouins, another Ramreki, and my Hafiz is just chilling in the back there until he's useful. And you can see an additional 30 points here would have only weakened my push on this side. Rovite 90 are of course 10 points apiece, and Zeldas are 5 points. So one of these double squads of Rovite and their Zeldas is 30 points. That's the difference between a Pera and a Hafiz. So Shaitet 13 are splitting. I'm trying to get them up forward, able to use those nice secondary weapons, and we take out another 80A. It's about a 20-point prize there, I think, and I was very happy with that performance. But one thing I don't have on this side is chaff. So I don't know, it was a little bit of a mixed bag. One thing that was really interesting though, so there's Morskaya Pechota over here, and I think I might have clipped this out just because it was so surprising to see at the time, but Morskaya Pechota in, look at that, 30-23, and they're taking some fire from afar, but just the bit of a firing concave we managed here was pretty impressive. The Zeldas, of course, have 3 guns apiece, Rovite, more Zeldas, and they just got absolutely eviscerated by, what was that? Let's see, 6, 12, at least 14 machine guns firing at once. But BTRTs have a lot of frontal armor. I don't really have much that can handle that, other than the secondaries on the Rove 890, and they'll only do about 1 to 2 points of damage per hit. So we do also run into trouble. I moved up some Bedouins through the forest, trying to see if there was any sort of aggressive move this direction, and I'm going to lose the Bedouins. So it's 15 points down. They're not really my favorite. Actually, interestingly capable at long range, the secondary M14, but they're not meant to be fighting Morskaya Pechota in the woods. So that told me I need some reinforcements over on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, I just purchased an Aksarit Pekud, and I was getting a little bit worried, particularly because Charlie had been capped by depression as well. So, I mean, this is the sort of thing where you can't just let your opponent sit there with a points advantage, and I wasn't, right? I already had my Pekud on the way, but I didn't have anything over on the right that could intercept those Morskaya, because, I mean, if they get through, my Hafiz is dead, you can see he's already backing up. It just had the potential to turn out really poorly. In the meantime, Shaitet 13, they can handle Motostrelki individually, and a group of 2 versus a group of 2 would be alright, but I didn't want to handle them one group of Shaitet versus 2 groups of Motostrelki. I didn't think it would be a good idea. So for right now, I'm just consolidating in these woods. I have some Rovite screening out forward in Fox, I have a Tiran up on the high ground, and I've actually gotten a lot of good use out of light to medium tanks. I wish their facing was different, but up on the high ground here, 40-point tanks, 10 frontal armor is pretty nice for that, and the 50% stationary accuracy is pretty good as well. And here's the thing, 13 AP power, But what these guys are here to do, oh, my poor Rovarit on that side, oh well. What they're here to do is shoot at anything that comes up the ramp. So the 13 AP is going to become more like 17, 18 armor piercing just because of the short distance. So Oshkosh is coming up, and that's strictly to resupply my Moglon, but anything that can heal up as well would be pretty nice. Unfortunately, most of my Zeldas have been lost. As it turns out, they can't really fight BTRTs, so, lesson learned. BTR 80A moving up on this side, and my Ramreki is just waiting there to die, but at least we saw it, at least we spotted it, that is what he's there for, and if I'm lucky, I might be able to get reinforcements forward just in time. In the meantime, Shaitet do ambush a single Motostrelki unit, probably left as a tripwire by a crippling, and this wasn't great, so ideally you'd like to use the B300 to take out the MTLBV first, and then kill the Motostrelki, but as it is, I had to do the opposite direction. I just didn't see the vehicle before I saw the infantry, and I took a little bit of extra damage for that when that infantry fighting vehicle got his gun online. So, Siphon now is looking over on the right-hand side, and here is 1, 2 Zeldas, lucky to avoid dying. Of course, the additional 2 frontal armor instead of 1 did kind of help with that. My Rovait are getting ambushed, BTR 90s have frag rounds, and that's 30 points down the drain right there. So the other Rovait 90 are moving over, trying to get the Spetsnaz Guru. My Hafiz is, oddly enough, shooting at the BTR 90. 1 missile away, and of course it's a swing and a miss before that guy goes back and hides. So my Hafiz is in a lot of danger. The autocannon on the BTR 80A can absolutely crush the Hafiz. 2 frontal armor is not enough to stand up for that for a significant period of time, easy for me to say. And you can see, well, initially I'd say the answer to whether or not I've learned how to Israel better is a big fat no. So my Bedouins are just too light to hold this side. I didn't have Rovait up here when I needed them. Because of that, I lost the Morskaya Pechota. I also wasn't able to sufficiently screen out a really nice flanking maneuver from Crippling Depression because I didn't put anything here to keep an eye on it, and that's really costing me. My Siphon nearly dead, but we do get the BTR-80A. Finally, Hafiz does hit something and get a kill. We have about 60 more points we need to pay off before this guy becomes worth it, so we'll take a look at that at the end of the game and his kills and try and figure out if that was worthwhile. But the Rovait and the Oxidate did prove worthwhile. We got, well, we lost one, but we took out a group of Spetsnaz Guru, and I'd say that's relatively worth it. So, at this point, we have Shaitet relatively far forward. I wasn't able to find the T-72 BU until just now. We take one shot, and it is a hit. Look at that, down to 3 points of health remaining, and unfortunately able to hide before we can get the second shot off. BMPT comes up to replace, and now my Shaitet are in trouble. So we had a good shot, now we have, well, really crappy shot. So I'm trying to get out of dodge, but I mean, it's really hard to do. BMPTs have high suppression on their multiple guns, and that is going to be pretty dangerous. But we do get away with just one man left, one man alone, and I get a little bit of a cheeky idea. See, MI2s don't have guns. My Siphon and the MI2 were just staring at each other. It's actually partly why I really enjoy cheap recon helos with cheap guns. They can sort of do this sort of combat. But we're headed over there, and my Shaitet 13 on this side, new reinforcements, are going to be encountering Motostrelki that looked like they were just force moved because they didn't start shooting at the Hammers. So we're getting good individual engagements, but the map control is a little bit struggling. I have Rovait and Oxidate over on this side, and Tifa B just here as a bit of insurance. But we are now ticking +1, and let's see, how is that even happening? Oh, right. I think we missed it, but I was able to decap Delta. That one was a highlight a little while ago, so no, it wasn't. Goodness gracious. Well, hey, I have another thing to do for a highlight. Here's what it was. The Siphon's moving over, and we do find the enemy command vehicle right here. Unfortunately, at the time, I didn't realize this was a command vehicle. I was looking elsewhere, and I saw I saw 2 red blips, one for the FOB and one for the other vehicle, and I thought, okay, that's probably artillery, and I guessed, well, maybe his command vehicle's over in the other woods. So if you're going to do something like that and just send in a recon helo and see what there is to see, at least look when it's going. Don't be an idiot like me. Jeez. I mean, for goodness sakes, that was just a wasted opportunity. So, I have more infantry moving forward here, and you can tell by the sound of machine guns are getting into the thick of the fighting. Tifa B providing some pretty good fire support, and this is something that the Morskaya Pechota are not well suited for. I mean, it's just too many guns. They're not even able to really kill the Oxidate in one go because Morskaya don't have the highest armor piercing on their secondaries. So it takes a couple shots, and we're stunning them, we're grinding them down. This, at least, is what I think Israel is supposed to do in infantry engagements. Granted, there's only one opponent here, but that's because we took out the Sepri with the Seifa B, who's now headed back over to resupply, and now we have a Doher also shooting in, trying to get some nice kills. Unfortunately, BTRT versus Oxidate, I think the BTRT does eventually win that. It will take a little while, potentially, but yeah, I guess that will take a little while. So the dough here is just trying to cut off enemy reinforcements coming from the short path, because oftentimes I see people will come up to this side and then they'll split one over here and then a couple over here. We do see some movement and it is more sapery. Very unhappy about that. They will kill Rovates relatively efficiently, particularly with all these BTRTs in the backup. And usually if you're playing against a Soviet player and you see a sapery, it's probably accompanied by a BTRT. They're almost universally going together. I tend to take Sapery 90, but I'm also not really good at Soviets, so that might have something to do with each other. T-55 spotted on the left-hand side, and my Hafiz actually does take a little bit of a shot, but is able to get the kill. So hey, that's 2 kills for our plucky little Hafiz. Let's see what else he can manage before the game's over, but Morskaya are able to get in, my Auxiliary shooting in, and we're grinding down Sapery, but I don't have anything to kill with BTRTs, and my Rovi 90 will get overwhelmed fighting in the same block as these Morskaya. You can also see I don't really have much Recon up here, and because of that, I don't even know what I'm fighting. Look at this. I was in that town with the Morskaya for a while, my Rovi unable to identify what infantry they were shooting at. Oh, sometimes this game, I swear. Goodness gracious. Anyway, so I need more Recon. That's coming up the pipe right now, Tier 5 plus Ace, and they're headed one to the woods and then one over the other side. At least that was the intention when I called them in. So we do also get a nice kill here, enemy command vehicle on this side, and this is why you push things forward when you can. So my Shotkol Dalits moved forward with another Tier 5 plus A, and I lost the Tiran, but my Shotkols got forward enough that we were able to take out a relatively high value enemy vehicle before he get into position and start that, well, actually even out the game just a bit, as I have now capped Bravo with an Auxiliary Preclude. Questionable choice, given that I was recently flanked over here, but I figured, hey, I mean, they're probably gone, right? I mean, I killed a lot of Spetsnaz crew, I killed a lot of vehicles, and we've been pushing pretty resolutely up and forward, although most of my Rovite are dead. The Morskaya Pechota will struggle against more Auxiliaries. Of course, now they just killed one, but that was side armor. I think the frontal armor will do okay. Here's the problem. There it is, right there. BTR 90 spots my Auxiliary Pekud, and my Kurnos bomber was already in looking for something else. Didn't actually even use it. I'm not really sure why. So that's going to be evac ordered, and we get the kill with the Hafiz, but now I know that this is spotted, and I should do something about it. But should and do are two very different things oftentimes, unfortunately. So, yeah, you can see the Morskaya really struggling. I'm trying to keep my Hafiz away, though. We did take a little bit of a pounding there, and I really need to heal that up if I want to get more use. So, just taking a look at the battlefield, how it stands at the roughly 13-minute mark. We have good engagements in Bravo, we have good engagements in Golf so far, and Shaitet 13, I should probably be running them back. We did actually get the RMI2 kill with this Shaitet on the other side, but this is a bit of a waste, so I should be probably getting more Oshkoshes forward. They're so flipping expensive. I'm not entirely sure I love the 40-point resupply vehicles, but at least I can move this one over, heal up this infantry, heal up these Zeldas, and really consolidate that side of the field. But I don't know, this was beginning to feel like a bit of a productive grind anyway, and something that I could feasibly keep doing. T-55s, 1, 2 of them spotted. Hafiz trying to move up to take those guys out, but we just now get into range, first shot away. Trying to rescue the other Tier 5, and is a miss, second shot away. These T-55s, by the way, 25 points. It is relatively worthwhile, but the Hafiz does not get that one. That's the other Tier. Suddenly, well, surprisingly enough, getting the kill. Shotkol Dalits shooting in, and we should be able to get this other T-55, although I do lose one of the Shotkol Dalits as well. So, I don't know. I feel like this game was better on the infantry front, but I still don't really understand the Israeli tanks and vehicles, and I'm really paying for that, and that is something that I don't know. I mean, Shotkol Dalits, they seemed like an interesting price point. 40 points, 10 frontal armor, seems decent, 50% accuracy seems decent. I know of other 35 point and similar that I like better, like the, what is it, the AMXFL series, the 35 point. I think they're in the Dutch deck, they have 13 rounds a minute. It's a lot better for anti-infantry and anti-vehicles, but you can see Spetsnaz GRU have gotten around my side again. Bedouin sparring with them just briefly. My Auxiliary Pekud has moved backward now, trying to remain, oh jeez. Well, if you like motorcycles, there's a little motorcycle for you there in the background. Perks of living next to a train station, I suppose. But I was trying to get him out of the way and not spotted and just safe from Spetsnaz GRU while I can move in other assets to deal with them. Oddly enough, my Auxiliaries are completely out of ammunition. I think they did take an ammo crit. That's not that they shot at all. And the left side is now suffering from a counteroffensive, but I think this is, just for a second, a bit more interesting. So the Tef would be looking for that kill. Bedouin's moving up sacrificially. If they get shot, Well, I was hoping we'd have vision for long enough to get the Tefabi online. As it turns out, we get it with the Auxiliaries, and that is going to be pretty punishing for the Red Fort player. SU-24M coming in, and this is going to suck. Shitet 13 are spotted, Zelda's spotted, and all of that is dead. I lost 2 expensive Shitet. These guys are 30 points apiece. That's a 60, 65 point bombing run right there. Not as expensive as the bomber, but it's certainly a good start. We did also spot the Podnos, and this is just an enemy mortar, just barely out of range of the Rovite, which I hate 525 meter range secondary. It's just, the extra 175 meters is phenomenal. Never underestimate the range on those things. It's excellent for screening things out. Spetsnaz crew were frustratingly still alive. 1 man left against a Ramreki, and I mean, it's an M2 Browning, it should be able to do fine. Only reason it's still alive is because these guys were force pathed and, well, panicked, but there's the kill. Good Ramreki, good for you. Not going to see that every day. Usually this guy, well, the Ramreki would immediately explode, but do the best that we can. So T-72BU from the beginning of the game still out here, and just wonderful, wonderful work from Crippling on it. But now it is spotted, and we're going to see what we can do about it as I have Kurnos coming in, and this is a bit of a mistake. I'd already bought the Kurnos, so I figured just use the bomber I have. The T-72BU has 4 frontal armor, and that means that these missiles, well, I guess bombs from the Kurnos are not going to be able to quite do the job. 2 points of strength left. I saw that. I was really kind of annoyed. And my Rovite and the show called Dalit are trying to move up to capitalize, but it's a bit too late for that. We get intercepted by Monostrelki anyway. So nearly a kill is not a kill. And yeah, I might have disabled this guy for a little bit, but I really wanted that. And if I had just bought an ATGM plane and done it properly, it would have been a lot better. So always use the right tool, not the quick tool, because you'll end up wasting things. And, you know, I could have well lost the Kurnos there. That's an option for what could have happened, and had it been so, I would have thrown away an expensive limited plane for nothing. So, Morskaya Pechota chewing through my Bedouins again, and the pressure on this side has been non-stop, but we get a little bit of a take on our side as well. BRDM2U stun locked by some Auxiliaries. Beautiful, beautiful work. I mean, it's going to be so slow killing that guy, but, I mean, it's better than nothing. Also, second Kurnos buy because, I mean, it's Israel. You're supposed to buy Kurnoses, right? I mean, right? Yeah? No? Maybe? So we killed the 2U. That does save Bravo from being counter-camped, but this super heavy tank in the center, excuse me, has been, I think that's the same one, has either been healed up or that's a second one, I'm not really sure. Mag1 team gets BRDM 3, but that's going to make us spotted and unfortunately vulnerable as the MI8 MTV shoots in. 5 strength infantry, pretty well, actually, no. Looks like just able to avoid it, and Foxtrot has been capped. So, ticking 0-0 now as my Pakud is repositioning, but that should be fine here in just a second. Oh, except. So, the amount of pressure coming in along the sides of, well, past Bravo, really pretty impressive. I was really impressed by that. It was something you always have to guard against, and it's something I didn't really guard against. I've seen people do it in golf where you go through these woods pretty far and you can sneak, you know, man-pad teams up to like here, right at the edge of the woods, and they can shoot in. It can be really devastating. Don't forget, the map is bigger than the zones that you're on, so this is held in a very small place. It's thought of as the smallest map in all of Wargame, but there's a lot of space over here, and it's really very seldom utilized, so don't get flanked, do the flanking. Shanov 2 is shooting in, unfortunately not quite able to score a kill on the Su-24M, and we do need to be resupplied by an Oshkosh, as I was hoping to avoid getting hit by those sorts of bombing runs again and again and again. T-72BU is spotted and is all the way healed up, which really sucked. I mean, I sent in the Kurnos, we got it down to 2, and then 2 Urals just undo all that good work. So that is a bit of a tax. 40 points in Urals, so I guess you could say that the bombing run was worth 40 points. But we're going to do it again. Kurnos making his move here once more. This time there was AA in the area, not able to kill the Urals, and the BU is back down to 2 points. So for anyone keeping track there, this guy probably will stay at roughly 2 points of strength, even if you land both missiles off the Kurnos, pretty much regardless of the situation and or the angle, because I'm pretty sure he was facing to the western, or rather to our left side, and still didn't get a kill. So that's what I was hoping for. But 2 for 2, not really worthwhile. You can see VDV and more infantry moving forward from Crippling Depression. He really wants Bravo, and now my second Kurnos is trying to finish the job here with the BU in the center, so let's see what those bombs can do. Finally, that is a kill. But if you're looking for a valuable way to kill a T-72BU, it's not with double Kurnos. That's honestly just because my opponent's AA seemed to be a little bit spotty this game. And there was a lot of combat in it. He was telling me, you know, how in the hell do you have Morovai everywhere? So I think I was just calling in a lot of infantry, and he was trying to do that to respond. And you get up maybe 200 points in infantry, and all of a sudden you have enough for backline units, you have enough to replace backline units, while your opponent does not, because if you keep up that constant attack, they feel like they need to always have something standing in the way. And to be fair, they do. You always need some sort of front line, even if it's just made of fear and sadness, and he didn't really have it. So Rovi narrowly dodged bombing run, and that was pretty scary, only saving 5 Rovait, but every little bit counts, and I really wish I could have better resupply up there right now. It would be helping quite a lot. Auxiliaries spotted by VDV, but the Cefa now is back here, and those Hydra rocket pods were almost able to do some good work, but we lose contact just in time to save those VDV. So I'm bringing in some Merkava 2As, more Auxiliaries. These guys, I know people love them, I know they're strong, I know they're good, but I can't seem to make them work well. My Merkava 2A from the start is over here, the one that survived anyway, and the second Merkava 2A is a bit of a forced fit. It took me 100 points to resupply this side of the field. We'll reinforce this side of the field with a single Rovait 90 and a Merkava 2A. It was weird. By the way, the reason he's here is because when I lost this position for a bit, I was concerned about infantry infiltrating through these woods. So he was there sort of as a garrison unit, but it's so expensive for that. It's 90 points, and if there's big enough anti-tank on whatever's infiltrating through, like, say, Special Forces, that can still end poorly. So I'm trying to put some pressure on Charlie, Zelda's, Rovait's, more Shayatet, and the Hafiz. Moving forward, I thought to myself, if I can get that sort of push going, then that's even more my opponent needs to reinforce. It might sort of let up a bit of the strain on Bravo, but the answer here, MI4 AV, Mount Leo Capiz, don't underestimate these guys. 40% accuracy, but when they hit, they still hit. And my Hafiz doesn't have much armor. My Zeldas, of course, don't have all that much armor. They're just highly armored relative standards. Hafiz looking for a kill on an Osa. My Rovait take a little bit on the chin. Second missile away. There's the kill. So, hey, I think we made it. I think this Hafiz did just barely pay for himself with that. BTRD is stunning my Rovait, and I'm trying to get up into this town. We really need to clear Bravo to feel comfortable, as the +2 ticking is bringing us past about 330 points, so I will speed up just a bit. And I don't know, again, just to sort of take a glance back here at the overall bit, this game was exceedingly grindy, and yes, I did just lose my Auxiliary Picud to a 27M. Which, by the way, the second that happens, yeah, we got revenge, so we'll see if it was worth it. That should tell you that your Auxiliary Picud was spotted, and I should have noticed that previously. I didn't because I was outside of the woods. Goodness gracious, 2 motorcycles today. Don't know what made me so lucky. But, yeah, losing that, bit of a blow, but it's 130 points. We took down a 27M, that's 200 points, so hey, I'll take it. By the way, what got the kill was a single Macbeth, so base defense, but also really powerful in many respects. MI4AV did get my Hafiz, and I don't know, so yeah, I never did do the whole zoom out thing. I'd say I'm a little bit better with Israel now than I was, and that's by virtue of not losing the game absolutely horribly, but I should tell you, about a day or two after I played this game, a bit ago now, I got absolutely smacked with what was in theory the improved deck. So yeah, it's a little weird. Things that I'm lacking forward anti-air. I needed it on this side, I didn't have it. That's what's allowing the MI4 AV to get away with all this. I also needed to have a little bit more cheap armor in the center, and that's something I really struggle with Israel as well. So if you have any tips for that, please do let me know, because everything is so expensive. The Merkava 2As are expensive, the helicopters are expensive, the anti-air, some of it's cheap, some of it's also very expensive, and it's hard for me to really keep up with. Don't know what the hell the Kurnos was doing, by the way. I think he was drunk. Or I lost vision, one of the two. But he does just get away. So the reason I'm doing this on the left-hand side is the Shayatet 13 and the Rovates and Zeldas. Once this section got bombed, I was sitting there going, okay, he's going to do one more push in to see if he can shake me out of Gulf. So I'd wanted something in the back that had reasonable punch to wear down infantry on that side, while my Shayatet 13 on this side are engaging with BTRTs and Sepri, unfortunately spotted and killed by another AV. Kurnos coming in to get the BTRTs is unfortunately taken out by Yak 141, and this is why I said I needed more anti-air forward. I didn't have it, my Shinab 2s were out, but Rock 2 is able to get the kill, and holy cow, these guys are good. I mean, the first time I looked at them, I saw 7,000 meter range missiles. That seems horrible. What am I even doing with this? But they've gotten so many kills, it's great. The 70% accuracy really makes up for the range, I do have to say. I'm pleasantly surprised by that. When you think about it, off of the 7,700 meter range, it's a little under 10% debuff. I mean, 10% of the Rock 2s, but a little under 10% of most of the 7,700. So, Charlie is being resecured, but as I predicted, that has taken the steam off of a couple other things, namely the reoffensive into Gulf is kind of struggling, and holy cow, we just can't get a quiet background. So I do apologize. I was waiting actually a little while. I was waiting a little while for a good amount of silence to record, but that one is an ambulance, so I sincerely hope that everyone is alright. Okay, seems we're good to keep going, so let's see if we can finish this out. Only a couple minutes left in the match, and most of it is as we've already seen. So actually, let's go ahead and move forward and get into the kills and losses, see what units did well, what units did poorly, since I am trying to do a bit of a faction optimization for my own style of play, and for, I guess, something that I'm not really used to doing. So let's see here. Doher, by the way, I'm expecting good things. Ooh, that's a lot of alarms. My apologies, I know this is a little bit unconventional. It's the unfortunate necessity of recording where I am. It's just, sometimes you're into some things that are less than ideal. And I want to keep giving you guys consistent content, so it's no excuse for bad content, and that's not my intention, so don't hear it like that. It's just a recognition that some videos will have a little bit of background noise that I try to edit out in post-processing, but I'm a little bit less than perfect in that regard. So kills losses 3340 to 1690, very much in my favor, and I think most of that had to deal with killing expensive infantry using cheap solutions. So not the Shaitet 13, but the Rova 890, although these guys had a damn nice kill list. Look at that, VDV, Motostrelki, lots and lots of support vehicles. I think that's nearing about 120, 140 points worth of kills off a single Shaitet 13, so no complaints there. Maybe I should revise my estimate. The Hafiz also did very well, and it looks like the Shaitet 13 pulled a lot of weight. Also the Shokol Dalit, so I do like those guys. Rovi with significantly fewer kills. Looks like most of that was done by the auxiliary transports. So I guess that does kind of make sense. The Rovi are there as a vehicle to get really good infantry fighting vehicles into the combat. Kurnos did alright, that's the T-72BU, Morskai Pechota, VDV-90, all of that, and the Machbet did very well. So Su-27M, Su-24M, ×2, Mi-4AV. Don't underestimate these guys. I mean, they're pretty phenomenal. I think they even did better than my Shanabs, so I mean, hey, whatever works. Alright, well hey, that's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.